My name is Robert Bennett. I've been asked by the Ruszczyks to John and Marian to give their victim impact statement. I am a father who has lost his daughter to an unnecessary violent act. Justine's death has left me incomplete. It is as if I had lost a limb, a leg. The shock and raw pain may have diminished, and people comment that I look better these days, but I will never be whole. At the start of every day, I am aware of something missing. At the end of every day, I am reminded that my world is different. I have lost my daughter. I have lost those private conversations over tea of, do you remember when, where, who is in that photo? I have lost our shared hopes and dreams. I have lost her love, her joy, and her laughter. I thought she had been killed by a criminal who, as chance would have it, crossed her path. I found out that it was a police officer, while on duty, who had shot her. In the days since her death, I have thought of this man getting up every morning and wondering if he will get away with it without paying a price for killing her. I ask that this convicted murderer be given the maximum sentence for the crime of killing my daughter, Justine Ruszczyk. While I am Justine's father, I also am an American citizen, one who has been greatly affected by an innocent's death. When she walked up to the squad car, she was doing what any Aussie girl would do. She was trying to help someone she thought was in trouble, and the police arrived and were there to help. That was not to be. Instead, she was shot and killed by a police officer. That is an obscene act by an agent of the state who is supposed to serve and protect the members of the community. The state, through the office of the Hennepin County Attorney, investigated her killing. They decided that this action by a police officer was a crime, and with courage and integrity, they charged him. The prosecutors presented testimony which included expert witnesses who were experienced police officers saying that Justine should not be dead and the officer did not have to use deadly force. They presented evidence and argument to court and the jury. The jury heard the testimony, saw the evidence, and evaluated the arguments. They found the defendant guilty of murder in the 3rd degree and manslaughter in the 2nd degree. The county attorney's office, as an arm of our government, believes the killer should be held responsible for his criminal act. The jury, representing the community, believes the police officer should be held liable for his criminal act. The government, its institutions, and the community want this police officer held accountable. With this verdict, they have made a public statement that that sort of behavior by police is intolerable. Justine paid the ultimate price for this criminal act. I want the man who murdered my daughter held to account, so does the broader community. The court can acknowledge the significance of this verdict by imposing the maximum penalty permitted under law. John Ruszczyk. This is the victim impact statement of Marian Hefferen. Excuse me. Justine has been in my life for 18 years when I asked her if it was okay if I dated her father, John. In May 2017, she said I was the best stepmother ever when we were celebrating her 40th birthday. Along with John, Jason, and Katarina, I became part of this family and counted myself blessed. Justine was a memory maker. There was always a story which we repeated and called on when we wanted to relive her adventures because they were funnier than anyone else's. Now we only have 40 years of recall, and that it is blank. The devastating and unjustified death of an innocent Justine at the hands of a police officer has left this whole family scarred for life. No, we won't get over it. No, we cannot put it behind us. No, this is not closure. No, time will not heal our sorrowful hearts. No one will ever forget such a vibrant, talented, and loving woman. Her father, brother, sister-in-law, and especially her niece and nephews, young children, have been deeply affected by this cruel murder and will be for the rest of their lives. Justine's horrific murder was so surreal, and as the meager facts became known, I was outraged, torn apart with disbelief and pain, and at the same time trying to comfort a heartbroken father and brother. The past 2 years have been a living nightmare, averaging 3 hours of sleep a night, grief counseling, antidepressants, unable to focus and developing cardiac anomalies through stress and losing weight. The fear and powerlessness of knowing her murderer could be acquitted because police are not accountable in a society saturated with guns seemed so unjust. The sight of a police car or an officer with a gun in their holster will always make me feel ill with fear, irrational as it may be. Compounded by this was the intrusive public nature of this disgraceful murder. But there was overwhelming support for justice and the exposure of police malfeasance in their sights. My heart went out to the community she lived in who were fearful of police and swore never to call 911 if possible. No civilized society should have to live under this inculcated fear of the state, but they do. I passionately hope Justine's murder will be a catalyst for integrity, accountability, and a return of trust, or this obscenity will have been for naught. The convictions of third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter is a fitting outcome and proven way beyond any doubt by the rigorous and commendable investigation by the state prosecutors, and the maximum sentence should be applied. The defendant still has his child and family, while our family has a vast empty place of sorrow. His sentence will be counted in years. Our sentence is for life. Marian Hefferen.